Good evening. My name is Andy Freed, and I want to thank you very much for the opportunity to talk to you this evening. Minerva, thank you for the invitation. I certainly appreciate it. I'm president of a small environmental organization called Safe Action for the Environment, Inc. We formed in 1999 specifically to oppose the Cemex mine, and we have been one of the preeminent organizations involved in the opposition. Minerva specifically asked me here this evening to talk about Barbara Boxer's legislation, and I think we can spend a few minutes doing that. Barbara's legislation currently is S-759. It precedes legislation that she dropped about a year ago, excuse me, which was S-3057. And there are some slight modifications to S-759, but they're not terribly significant. Like any other piece of federal legislation, it tends to be long, it's complicated, it's almost 26 pages long. So what we've decided to do is I've taken information from Mike Murphy, the City of Santa Clarita's Intergovernmental Relations Affairs Officer, who really was able to pare all of this down. And everybody should have a copy of this that you can take a look at and follow as I go. One of the most important things that we need to understand this evening is time is running out. Cemex agreed to what we call a truce a number of years ago. That truce ended at the end of 2011. They agreed to a 60-day extension, and when that ran, they agreed to, not sure, a 90-day extension, I apologize, and then a 60-day extension. The 60-day extension will run out at the end of May, and we are not sure whether or not they're going to be willing to go for another even 30 days. They want very much to see this legislation passed. They're behind it 100%. They are working it in Washington, as are other groups. Sandra is here from the Sierra Club. Her group is working this very hard. The city is working this very hard, as are any number of other organizations. But Barbara really is at the forefront here. And we need to get this legislation through. It's critical because not only does it take Congress to put an end to federal mining contracts or any kind of federal contract, and there are 2 federal mining contracts that have been issued relevant to Cemex. They go back to 1991. They run 10 years. They're 10 years each, so we've got 20 years worth of mining. What most people don't understand is that the BLM can then go ahead and release the site for further mining, and if our calculations are correct, we're looking at potentially 100 years of mining on this site. Barbara's bill calls for the immediate cancellation of the 2 Cemex mining contracts. Now, some people have said, well, gee, Andy, you know, it's terrible. We're just going to take this mining opportunity away from Santa Clarita and we're going to move it somewhere else, in this case, out to the Victorville area. This is not accurate. Barbara's bill is very, very specific. There will be no mining allowed on the federal lands that will be sold to pay for this. The lands are out in the Victorville area. They've been very, very carefully chosen. They've been carefully vetted. Sandra has looked at the map, I don't know how many hundreds of times.
Oh, I went out there.
She has been out there indeed. She was out there with the last bill. So I think that we've got a reasonable amount of land to sell. The bill gives the Secretary of the Interior the right to go ahead and sell this land and the money goes into a special federal account and will then be distributed to Cemex. It's the head of the Department of Interior who will ultimately decide how much money Cemex gets. If you want to take a look at more, you can read what the city has written here. You can also go to their website, which is down at the very bottom of the page. They've got an excellent 5-page frequently asked questions page that you can take a look at, which will answer a majority of your questions. The other thing that I would like to take a minute to point out, I started this way and I'd like to end this way. Take a look at the other piece of paper that we left on the table. It says in red, mega mining may be imminent in Soledad Canyon. SAFE doesn't make this prognostication lightly. This is fact. And if we want to keep away from 100 years worth of Cemex mining in Soledad Canyon, not to mention other international companies that have got roughly 1,200 acres that goes all the way up the mountains of Soledad Canyon and into Agua Dulce. You know, if we don't want Irwindale and Azusa in the Santa Clarita Valley, then we've got a very limited amount of time to deal with this issue. And I would ask you to go to the website at the bottom of this second page, Safe for Environment Inc. The website will give you the mechanism for sending letters in support of this to Senator Boxer, Senator Feinstein, to Representative McKeon, also to the gentleman at the Committee for Natural Resources. We also have started a petition. We have a tad under 3,000 signatures at this point, and you can get to the petition from the website. The button for the petition is down at the bottom right-hand side of the homepage. I would ask you to please do that. Send a letter, sign the petition, and make phone calls. Let Senator Boxer know you support her legislation, you support her efforts. She has been behind this 100%. Let Senator Feinstein know that this is what you want, and call Buck. Call Buck's office and let him know as well. Minerva, thank you very much for the opportunity. I appreciate it. Thank you all very much. I apologize. Diane, I'm sorry.
That's okay. No, I have a question.
Hold on, Diane. I want you
I just wanted to ask, and this is probably on your website too, in addition to writing letters to Senator Boxer and Senator Feinstein and calling Buck, is there an action we can take to encourage other senators to get on board with this bill? Are there other people we can click on the website, or are there people in particular in the Senate and the House who can be persuaded or you're working on, that sort of thing?
This website has been specifically designed to support Senator Boxer's bill and allow people to communicate or interface with Senators Boxer, Feinstein, and Representative McKeon. We also have a mechanism. We will be sending copies of the letters to the people, to the committee members on the House Natural Resources Committee. Right? Other than that, we haven't added any other names, Diane. Okay.
I might suggest that you talk to Brad Sherman, because I think he's always been very supportive of us out here, and at one point he was working with Buck on this issue. So I know he is somebody that I call on for constituent services and help for the folks out here. So he might be a good partner with you in the House.
Carol, you bring up a very good point. Thank you. Absolutely. Representative Sherman has been very interested in this issue for a long time. The city has had many conversations with him. I know Sandra has talked to him. I know Diane has talked to him. He is aware and ready to pitch in as best he possibly can. And I think we'll see some action from him if action does not come from other places. Any other questions? I apologize. Fair enough. Thank you very, very much for the opportunity.